Molly, my first question, congrats on your feature debut. Can you speak to just writing Next Exit and how this idea evolved over time?
Yeah, I think very much this is a project that it was my light in the dark through many different experiences in my life. Whenever I was having a hard time, I started writing about 10 years ago, and whenever I was kind of caught in a dark place or unable to get through something, this is what kind of brought me out of it. And fast forward to the start of COVID, and seeing everything that was going on and being so stressed about the world in general, I looked at how the script kind of really resonated to me with me again, because you see one thing shift and you see the ripple effect that it has throughout society, and so it just felt very strongly to me that this was the right time to make it, and then I was lucky enough to find people that agreed with me.
Yeah, it really, I was just surprised at how confident the film was, given it was your feature debut. It was really impressive.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I think that's also a testament to all the people that I had around me. I think this film was made in an incredibly vulnerable place the whole way through, and I think that's because I was allowed to be there, because everybody else really supported me in that.
And then Katie, this is just such a intriguing and like dark twist on what is kind of this road trip movie. What about the script really attracted you to it?
Fear, my fear around it, my fear around playing someone who um, is traumatized, someone who is maybe not outwardly likable. I really can't think of many heroic female characters we see in cinema or even in books that take Rose's journey, and that was really exciting to me to play her. And then also Molly's vision. You said the movie's confident. I agree, and that, I mean, she's very kind to say we supported her in that, but I think everyone was really attracted to Molly for her vision. And whenever anyone had questions, she had answers, and that's really exciting to work with a director that has your back in your creative process, but also their own back and belief and confidence in themselves and their story that they're making.
Perfect. Molly, what goes into making a film with suicide as this looming topic? The film doesn't glamorize it or anything, but like I feel like you have to tread, pretty carefully. So what went into this portrayal?
Well, I would say that in this world, I'm not sure that suicide exists necessarily. So I'm not sure that what our lead characters are doing are crossing over into the next world, which we've been able to actually see, track, and record. So the idea of, I really wanted to question kind of the idea of death in general, and how we define it, and how we redefine it. That being said, I do think that there's two characters, one who wants a way out and doesn't know how to deal with things, and the other who wants a way in, wants their life to mean something. And they both have an idea that participating in this study will do that for them. Um, but ultimately, what they need to do is something that I think I really needed to do in my life, which is take a look at the things around me, have more experiences, and trust that other people and humanity are something that you actually need, and that this life actually matters. Um, I'm not sure if that kind of went all over with that one. I'm not sure if
No,
that gave
no,
you
yeah, it makes sense.
what.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And then Katie, the film is so much on yourself and Raoul. Can you just speak to just working with one actor so closely throughout the film? Because if that connection doesn't work, the whole film is gonna not work. So can you just speak to how great that working relationship was?
Yeah, Rahul is very easy to act with. He is incredibly present, generous. You feel like he wants to be there with you. He wants to help you get to where you want to go in the scene. He's an incredibly generous actor and very, very talented. Probably one of the most talented actors I've ever worked with. I think we both respected each other's process, and and respected each other as people. And we just had fun together. You know, we were on the road together. We were in vans with each other. It felt like being with a family member. You know, there was an ease to our relationship when we shot. There was a relaxation there. And I just felt really held by him and supported by him.
Molly, you've produced a lot of films, you've directed some shorts. So coming into this debut, did anything surprise you? What was most challenging about this experience?
I think because of a lot of my experiences on set and because of producing so many films, I feel more comfortable on set than I do in most other places in life. So it was very comfortable for me to be there. I didn't know, and I kind of went into this. I work with a lot of first-time feature directors, and one of the biggest things that comes up for them is a fear of failing and a fear of not being good enough. And so I just kind of decided that I might fail, I might not be good enough, but none of those feelings were going to help me do the job that I needed to do. So I just kind of went into free fall mode and I was just going to do my best. And then once I was there, I found that I did know what I was doing. I did know what I want, and I was incredibly calm and comfortable. And so, I mean, there's always the challenges of we were literally making a road trip film in the height of COVID, which was my biggest stressor, January, February 2021, driving from Kansas City through Oklahoma, through Texas, through New Mexico, through Arizona. So there was a lot of like structural, like logistic nightmares that honestly didn't take place but could have. That stressed me out, and that was the hardest part. But the actual making the film and getting to work with the actors was a dream come true. I knew this story inside and out. Katie and Rahul were perfect casting. They were both so down to play and so down to work with one another, but came at it from completely different perspectives. They were so professional. And honestly, my job every single day is to make sure that we created a space for them to do their job. And it was just a blast.
Wonderful. You definitely succeeded in that. And Katie, this film just has there's a lot of fun, light moments, but there's also these really heavy heart to hearts. Can you discuss just working with Raoul and on these more emotional scenes? Because they really came out well.
Thank you. Um,
They did. They came out so well.
Oh, thanks. The scene where I sort of tell him my truth and my story, and I'm confessing a lot to him. I remember he was in a really goofy mood that day when we shot that, and really silly, and there was something about his levity that helped me kind of sink in a little bit more to the truth of Rose's pain. And then when we shot the scene where I don't want to give anything away, but there's that big confrontation outside of the bar. I remember feeling like, sorry, my dog is going nuts. She's distracting me. I remember feeling like charged by him, like in competition with him in a healthy way, in a way where like we were pushing each other. He's so well trained. I think I'm pretty well trained. We had like a natural chemistry together, and just like a respect for each other that I think complemented each other's performances.
Yeah, it came across so well. And Molly, kind of speaking to like that, the smaller, lighthearted scenes and the big, darker ones. Can you speak to just the balancing the tone of the film? Because even though the scenes can be vastly different, it all comes together to create something cohesive. And I think the lighter moments make the heavier ones, more impactful.
Well, I mean, I wanted to be very earnest about the darker nature of this film and the serious subject matter that I was talking about, but I also just me being me and where I am in life, I can't be serious all the time. I have to find some light and some way in, because this world is just, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, just bleep, but so fucked up. And so for me, also my way in, I struggle with straight dramas, because if you just say emotion right off the bat, I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know. But if you let me kind of, I wanted to ease people in, let them like these characters a little bit, actually have some moments of laughing, and then hit them with the reality of kind of where they're coming from. And then also make you laugh again, and then kind of flow between that. And honestly, that to me is what life feels like. It's never good, it's never bad, it's never up, it's never down. It is always oscillating between all of those things. And I did want this to feel like a true relationship felt, and kind of the ups and downs that naturally kind of occur in life, and then just heighten them with ghosts.
So, Katie, there's such a great bond that develops between the two main characters over time. I know you shot this during COVID. Were you able to bond with Rahul off screen to really amp up that chemistry, or were you just lucky to capture magic when the cameras were on?
Well, I've known Rahul for a few years. He was on iZombie with Rose McIver, and Rose is one of my best girlfriends. We used to live together, actually. So I've known him, and yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I think like the friendship and the chemistry, the ease of our relationship was already there. Like it didn't feel like hard work to be in his company and be around him. Just felt like homies working on a movie together.
It was funny because I would say off camera they were more like brother and sister, and then the cameras would roll, and I'm like, but they knew how to turn on the chemistry. But off camera I was like, okay, this is almost a little bit too brother and sister.
Yeah, pretty brother and sister. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have never guessed. It's so electric on screen. And Molly, just this is such a big like couple months for your family. You have this film debuting. Your father had that just incredible Coachella performance. How wild is it that this is like kind of the summer of the Elfmans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be the fall and winter, and then the elf army takes over. No, no, I think the thing that I keep coming back to is how inspired I am by my dad with the Coachella performance. In taking new risks and stepping out of his comfort zone and speaking to who he truly is as an artist, and what his voice genuinely is. It's interesting because there actually are some parallels between me finally directing a film that I wrote and me being very honest about my voice. And I think some of the stuff that he's also doing with his work, obviously completely different, and we're in different fields. I will never play a note of music because of him, but I'm incredibly inspired by him as an artist, and I think that it's interesting that we both came out of COVID with a feeling of wanting to actually have our voices heard, in both in our own unique ways.
Amazing. And Katie, my last question here. You kind of spoke about Rose being a really unique role. What did you find most intriguing about this character that you really latched onto?
I think just the truth about what it means to be haunted by choices you've made in your life. And I loved that she gets, without spoiling anything, there are opportunities along the way to awaken. And it was really interesting to play a character who truly is like dead inside, like she's experiencing death to be reborn. And it was really fun to get to chart that as an actor and to find the places of where she's awakening.